Major production funding for Game Notes is provided by Hargrove Engineers and Constructors is proud to support LPB. Since 1995, Hargrove has been employee-owned and relationship-driven. With 2,700 teammates around the world, Hargrove works as one team to go beyond expectations.
You have what it takes to begin your journey: curiosity, ingenuity, intellect, determination. Through a vast portfolio of affordable and in-demand academic programs, hundreds of student-focused activities, and wraparound services, Southern University meets you where you are, giving you the tools and support that lead you to a successful career in the sciences or the arts. Begin with your goals anywhere. Finish stronger at Southern University at subr.edu.
The Rolf Pugh Agency is proud to support this program. Based in Louisiana, Rolf Pugh has provided marketing services nationwide since 1981, partnering with clients in healthcare, retail, automotive, and more. For more information, visit rpagency.com. With additional support from Lafayette Travel, the LSU Alumni Association, and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center at LSU, Louisiana Tech University, Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, Northwestern State University, Red Stick Sports, the U.S. Army Baton Rouge Recruiting Battalion, the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and viewers like you. Thank you. Well, welcome to a holiday weekend edition of Game Notes here on LPB. For those who are in town from the holidays, welcome. Great to have you with us. Hope you and yours had a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving holiday. For introductions, that is my Super Bowl champ partner. His name is Scott Shanley. My name is Victor Howell. It's great to have you with us as we are on the final weekend, believe it or not, of the regular season for college football. Though for Scott, for some, they know today is the ending. For some, Ragin Cajuns, I'm talking to you, you need a win to extend that for bowl season. And then some, like the Lions, we're already in the playoff football.
Yeah. Isn't it unbelievable? We're already Thanksgiving week. I mean, it feels like just yesterday we were doing the preseason show in August and prepping to view all the teams we covered this year. And you're right, there's teams that are still playing and a lot to play for, and teams entering playoffs, teams trying to get to the playoffs. So it's a long journey, but it happens so sudden and so quick. A lot of memories are made over these football seasons.
Yeah, no doubt. And we have a lot to talk about. And we're going to start with that playoff matchup that kicks off in just about an hour and a half from now over in Hammond, America. For the first time since 1980, and really for the second time ever, Southeastern and Illinois State are going to face each other on the football field. This time, it's in the first round of the 2025 playoffs. To the surprise of many, 1 week ago, the Southland Conference got not one, not two that we knew were in, Stephen F. Austin and Southeastern, but three teams from the conference because Lamar got in at the very end. The Lions, well, they got the number 16 seed nationally, and they are kicking off at noon at Strawberry Stadium this afternoon against the number 17 team, and that's Illinois State. So let's get to know the Redbirds a little bit for this big-time matchup in the first round of the playoffs. They play in the Missouri Valley, which got a record 6 teams into the 32-team field, including number 1 overall North Dakota State. They finished as one of 3 teams with an 8-4 record in the conference, were ranked every week of the season anywhere between number 6 and number 18 in the country. Statistically, pretty much smack in the middle of most of the major categories in the Missouri Valley on offense and defense, but they have an experienced quarterback, an outstanding linebacker who's a 3-time Player of the Week and a finalist for the National Defensive Player of the Year. Head coach Brock Spack was impressed with what he saw of the Lions when he watched film of their win over Murray State, another conference opponent from earlier this season.
You know, they have a plan on what they're going to do and how they're going to play, and they stick to it. They're really good at it, and you know, they make the 2 quarterback system work. I remember seeing them back when we played Murray. They played Murray before we played Murray. Saw them. I thought that was interesting. They have a 2 quarterback system, and when we picked them up in the playoffs here, it's going to be interesting to see if they're still doing that, and that they are. They've done it all year, so their team's very much used to it. So.
Illinois State looking to see if that 2 quarterback system was just a fluke or the real deal. Nope, it's the real deal for the Lions. It's the 2nd straight playoff appearance for Illinois State and the 7th under their head coach Brock Spack. 11-3 on the road for the last 2 years as Illinois State. They finished tied for 4th in the Valley, as I told you earlier, and the last time these 2 teams met was back in 1980. Earlier this week, Frank Zelfos showing he can have a dual role, as I had a chance to catch up with the Southeastern head coach to talk about Illinois State while he was breaking down Redbirds film. Coach, let's look ahead now. You've got Illinois State coming to Hammond Saturday at noon in Strawberry Stadium. This is a team from the Missouri Valley, and I think I go back to week 3. You were playing Murray State, I believe, out of the Missouri, and you talked about then how important it was for you all to compete and get a win against teams from that conference. Now you're getting an Illinois State from that conference. Does the game against Murray State help you any? And can you give us a scouting report on what you plan on seeing from Illinois State?
Yeah, I don't think the Murray State game helps much, because it was so long ago in the season. The scouting report on Illinois State, they got a veteran head coach, been there 17 years. His program is in place. They know what they want to do, and they do a great job of it. Their kids play hard. They're physical. They're big on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and they play a physical brand of football. I think everything for them offensively will go through the quarterback. Tommy Rittenhouse, one of the best players we've seen all year long, being able to throw the football, but also being able to run the football. And you can tell they got a lot of confidence in him. It seems like they give him a lot of leeway, that it's not just something where they call a play and he has to run it. You see a lot of things happening with him. Some of it is probably ad-lib, but when he scrambles, when he takes off, he keeps his eyes down the field. He's a very effective runner, but he keeps his eyes down the field. And there are some huge plays being made when he takes off. I think on the other side of the football, they got an All-American linebacker that is all over the place. Their defensive line is as big as anybody we played this year, including LSU's. They're very active up front. They're difficult to move out of there. Secondary-wise, you're going to see a lot of different coverages. They roll their coverages, do a lot of movement and stuff up front, but they really adjust and really give you a lot of different looks on the back end. We got to really be on our game from the quarterback's perspective as to where he's looking, make sure he's got eye discipline, know what he's looking at, and know what he's seeing and understand what's about to happen. Hey, look, it's going to be a great day in Strawberry Stadium on Saturday. That's why I want so many people to show up and see this. Two really good teams. There's eight FCS teams in the country being played, games being played this week, and we're one of them right here in Hammond, America. Come on out and just check this thing out, too, because there's two really good teams that you appreciate playing.
The one thing you didn't say in the scouting report, this is a home game, and just ask every opponent that rolled through, even the highest scoring team in the South End Conference, you got the better of them by double digits. You talked about the importance of the city of Hammond to the school and how important the school is to the city of Hammond. If there's ever a weekend to come out at home, Coach, I know this would be it for you with the playoffs there at Strawberry Stadium, which has proved to be difficult for everybody this season.
We play well here. This is a good place for us. It's home field advantage is a good place for us. So we do play well in Strawberry Stadium. But I think there's some people that's never been here, that have never seen us play. And what I tell you is, come spend a few hours. It's easy to get in. Takes you 5 minutes once you park to walk inside the stadium. When the game's over, you can walk right out. You're going to see a great product on the field. And it's. Sometimes people get upset about the way things are going in the schools that they support. Come check us out. And if you like us, come back. If you don't like us, don't come back. But if you do like us, come on back or spread the word, because I think you will. I think you'll see a quality matchup, again, on two nationally ranked teams to be able to come in here and play on Saturday.
I got to do a better job of asking questions, because you could tell he's looking at film the whole time, but I couldn't get him to break down what he's watching. He couldn't give me.
Coaches are trained, Vic. You're not going to break him.
couldn't get that insight. Look, we told you a lot about Illinois State, but let's focus back on the Lions, because since we last saw you, KK Reno has been named the South End Conference Defensive Player of the Year, but Caleb Proctor, who we've talked about a lot, he's the conference's overall Player of the Year. So yes, they've got an experienced quarterback, but you're going up against one of the best defenses in the South End Conference playing at home this afternoon.
Yeah, you heard Coach give Illinois State a lot of credit in what their defensive line is able to do and what they're bring to the table. And I'm sitting there thinking, Coach, you got a heck of a defensive lineman yourself and a really good defense. But Caleb Proctor's been outstanding. You go all the way back to even the LSU game earlier in the year. I don't think it's far-fetched to say Caleb Proctor was the best defensive lineman in the state of Louisiana this year. He's been an outstanding player defensively. I think Southeastern has done a lot of good things all year long. We said all three phases. Offensively, they've been well. Defense has been the strength of this team. Special teams, they played well. But there's no doubt about it. First-round playoff game at home against a team who plays really good on the road. You saw that record, 11-3 on the road by Illinois State. It's going to come down to defensive football and running the football is how you win playoff games.
Yeah, it's going to be a matchup that's going to be great. And again, they're kicking off at high noon in Strawberry Stadium, so should be a great, outstanding afternoon. As Coach said, it's playoff football. Get out there to see it. This is number 16 against number 17. You see what the Lions defense has done. Second in the South End Conference in terms of points allowed. The Redbirds offense, as I mentioned, kind of middle of the road. The winner plays the number 1 overall seed, and that's North Dakota State, who's also in the Missouri Valley. And Scott, just to wrap up with Southeastern here, on the offensive side of the ball, this defense is good enough as long as your offense doesn't have a lull, like they did at UIW when you won, Lamar, which was that tough loss. But we've seen this offense be explosive. Remember, Texas Rio Grande Valley came to Hammond, high-scoring team in the South End Conference. the Lions beat them by double digits. The defense can get the job done. The offense has to be sharp this afternoon.
Yeah, and we've talked about it all year long. I think the two-quarterback system is outstanding. It keeps defenses on their heels. But when it comes to playoff time, how do you use that two-quarterback system? Do you go with the hot hand? Do you continue to roll it 50-50? How do you play out that two-quarterback system? But I think it comes down to defense, and they've ran the football well, taking advantage of that home field advantage. And I think the fun thing about the FCS is seeing the intra-conference matchups come playoff time. It's going to be an exciting game, and I agree, Coach, if you said it best. If you're there, go check out a quality football game and a quality football matchup.
Absolutely. Early this week, I had a chance to catch up with two of the other coaches in the state who coach in the South End Conference to get their thoughts on the conference, not only getting 3 teams into the playoffs, but also the path for the Lions.
I think it's great. I think, I don't think we've had that many in for a few years. I think we've been a one bid team for a few years now. And I think they'll all represent us really, really well. And I think they all, Stephen F. got the first round bye, so good for them. They're already advancing, if you will. And I hope they play Lamar in the second round. They've got the all Texas bracket over there. Lamar's playing Abilene Christian, and hopefully they can knock them off and we can have a Southland matchup in the second round. And then with Southeastern, I think Illinois State's a great draw for them. They've got to come to Hammond. That's a Strawberry Stadium's a great place to play, and they got to come all the way down from Illinois. And hopefully for them, the weather kicks up and it's about 85 degrees. But I'm pulling for all those guys because it's good for all of us. When teams in our Southland do well, it just brings attention to us, and it's a great thing. I'm really, really proud and excited for those 3 schools.
Yeah, well deserved. You look at all 3 teams, Lamar, Southeastern, and Stephen F. Austin, all 3 of them really good football teams, experienced football teams. They're all senior-laden football teams. And so when those teams win 8 and 9 games in a regular season, they deserve to be in the field. And I think anytime a Southland Conference team wins 8 games, they should be a shoo-in. And I know there was a little bit of bubble talk there towards the end with both Southeastern and Lamar, but I thought that was a little bit wild because 8-9 wins in our conference is a great record and deserves to go into the playoffs. And so I look forward to those guys getting matched up against some teams from the other conferences and looking for them to make a run.
Well, that will be a big-time game that kicks off at noon. But what about one of the other massive games in the state that'll kick off at 1 o'clock down in New Orleans in the Superdome? There's some fun and exciting football played in the HBCU throughout the country, and certainly the halftime shows are second to none. But the one marquee game every year for the HBCU comes a Saturday after Thanksgiving in New Orleans, and it happens this afternoon when it's Southern and Grambling. And all you have to say, it's the Bayou Classic. The Tigers from Grambling, their 4-game win streak snapped last week on the road in a loss to Alcorn State. But remember, the Tigers were short 18 players due to suspensions following that Bethune-Cookman fight. The Tigers have come up short the last few years in the Classic, but head coach Mickey Joseph is feeling more confident heading into today's game, especially now that he has one of these games under his belt.
This event this year was a little different for me last year. Last year I was a rookie. Now I'm a second-year vet. If you focus on what we're doing on the field, we have this thing turned a little bit. We have it turned in the right direction. When we came in the first time, we said we want to restore the order. No, the order was already restored. We had to come up with something else. One family, one legacy. When I say one family, family united together, striving for excellence, and we're going to get to that legacy. So when we take the field on Saturday, our coaches, our players, they know the impact of this game. They know this game means something, but this game, it's not a rivalry, you're right, because last year after the game, I can see our players and our coaches hugging the Southern players, hugging the Southern coaches, because only for 3 hours, family is going to be divided. So come Saturday, the Grambling State Tigers will be ready. Southern University Jaguars will be ready. We're going to battle for 3 hours. Then after that, we're going to go back and become that one big family, because when Southern's not playing Grambling, I'm rooting for Southern. Because at the end of the day, this the boot, and we take care of the boot.
By the way, if he's setting the line at 3 hours, I'm taking the over by a mile.
Yeah.
No way it's 3 hours, but I get your point, Mickey, and I love that. Now, for Southern, it's been 92 days since they won their one and only game this season at Mississippi Valley State. But for the Jags, all of that disappointment can take a back seat if they can find a way to play a consistent second half and get their 4th straight Bayou Classic victory.
Just want to thank President Shields, Chancellor Pierre, Coach Banks, board members, everybody for giving me this opportunity to be the interim coach here at Southern University. I've embraced it as a great moment of being a part of a leader here at Southern. And on Saturday, you will see two defined teams as Grambling and Southern come in this stadium, in this dome, and compete, blood, sweat, and tears, for one ultimate goal, is to win. As the Jaguar Nation shows up, the University of Southern University Jag will show out. Our students not only prevail on the football field, but they prevail in the classroom as well. So we have to acknowledge that these student athletes that come out and participate in the sport each and every day, for us coaches, fuss at them and chew them out during the course of practice and still be able to go in the classroom and do their job. Not only in the classroom, but in the community as well. So we'd like to thank each and every one of these football players that's going to come in this dome on Saturday and try and give you guys a great show. Go Jags.
Oh, no, it'll be a show. Southern and Grambling in the Bayou Classic, nationally televised on NBC as well as the Peacock app. The Jags have won 3 straight and 6 of 7 in this series. By the way, Grambling designated as the home team in this one this afternoon. Now, you might have heard there's been some head coaching vacancies and some searches in the state of Louisiana, and I think we've got an announcement of a head coach. But it's not the big school you're thinking about, because late this week it was announced that Southern reportedly has found their man, and it's somebody you not only know, you played with because of his NFL ties.
How about a Pro Football Hall of Famer to be your head coach, Marshall Falk? Coming back home to Louisiana, he obviously worked at the NFL Network for a number of years, joined Coach Prime staff in Colorado as the running backs coach, coming home to be the Southern head coach. This is an amazing hire. I think Marshall Falk, I was a rookie in St. Louis with the Rams a couple years after they won a Super Bowl, and just to watch Marshall work, watch Marshall lead in a locker room, watch his football IQ was off the charts, one of the best I've ever been around, played for 10 years, and just seeing his football IQ and his leadership ability, this is a home run hire for Southern. And congratulations to Southern, congratulations to Marshall Falk. He's going to impact a lot of young men in the right way.
Yeah, a little bit more information about Marshall Falk. Yeah, when you hear the name, like Scott mentioned, you just remember the records, his performance on the field. But here's a little more about the man in the Louisiana native coming back home. Well, he'll be in Baton Rouge in the southern part of Louisiana. Super Bowl champs with the Rams, inducted the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011. Now, he spent time most recently under Dion, a Colorado assistant coach, but reportedly set to become the Southern head coach. That announcement has been reportedly said to be expected on Monday. But first things first, before that big announcement, it's Southern, it's Grambling, it's the Bayou Classic, and it's this afternoon. Scott has so often reminded us time and time again, your best ability is your availability. And the Ragin Cajuns, well, they've had to fall on that a lot this season. Last week it continued when the Cajuns lost their center to injury. So enter Andrew Martinez, a sophomore without a lot of experience, but he stepped up as if he's been playing all season long at the center position, helping the Cajuns get that huge must-win on the road. And his play and his effort certainly caught the attention of the Ragin Cajun head coach.
Our guys all year have stepped in there and played well, and he played great the other night. You know, I mean, to not have one snap issue in that game, I mean, that's almost a miracle. You know, when you put a center in there who hasn't played a whole lot, he's got to snap every ball back there in a high-pressure situation. Made the IDs, did a really good job, played really well. I think that was, you know, he was a player of the game for us.
If the Cajuns want to make it 4 for 4 and get bowl eligible, they'll have to be able to get through the ULM Warhawk defensive front this afternoon, which has been one of the bright spots for the Warhawks this season. They're looking to snap a long losing skid as ULM, while the Cajuns are looking to close out a 4-game win streak that would officially make them bowl eligible.
A few weeks back, you know, we talked about being in this position and talked about the work it was going to take to get here. You know, and here we are. So, you know, we've got a big one this week, obviously. You know, this is what we wanted, was for Week 12 to mean something for us. Naturally, Senior Day is always a big deal, you know, being back at home, you know, playing a rivalry game against ULM. And then, you know, there's a bowl game on the line, and, you know, 8 years in a row. That's something that I'm really proud of, you know, and it's something we're going to fight like hell to try to get done.
So it's ULM in Lafayette to take on the Ragin Cajuns. It's a 2 o'clock kick. By the way, side note for UL Monroe, it's been reported they found a new AD. Head coach Brian Vincent has been the interim. That they're going to hire Sean Tuohy. Remember that family from The Blind Side? Yes. He's been at Oral Roberts for the last year. He might be announced soon as ULM's new athletic director. Scott, we talked about the Warhawks and we know the struggles they've had this season, but quickly just about the Ragin Cajuns. 4 weeks ago, they lost at Alabama and Troy. You had 4 games to go. You knew you needed to win all 4. Yep. They're 75% of the way there. Whether they can pull this off or not, it's been a heck of a run for a team that has had its share of issues this year.
Yeah, they went on a run. The defense picked it up, but it's really been centered around Lunch Whitfield, building this offense around his skill set. He ignited this locker room. You could see the belief in this team, believe in the quarterback position. And Zylan Perry and Bill Davis, they've been consistent all year long at the running back position. So, again, the offensive line, if they can control the line of scrimmage, kind of a matchup of strengths in the offensive line versus the ULM defensive line. That's going to be where the game's decided.
Well, I don't know. We're at the end of the month of November. I don't know if you remember what you did on September 27th. It's been a few months ago, but Louisiana Tech does. That's the last time they won a road game. But now that the Bulldogs are officially bowl eligible, they're going to try to take that momentum on the road this afternoon to improve their standings for bowl selection. Here's Tech head coach Sonny Cumbie.
It's a big objective of ours, as far as being able to get this one on the road. It's been a while since we've done it this year, and the same people are traveling, and we have to have that same mindset and that same intensity that we show up with, for 4 quarters, and regardless of where we're at or how we get there, we have a group that does love to play football, and we have an opportunity, for 2 more times to play football, and we've got to practice it really well, and then take all of the things that we've practiced Monday through Friday with a great mindset and the intent to show up on Saturday, and you're playing against an opponent on the field, but you're also, there's the momentum that their crowd can generate. They're going to be on senior day also, so a lot of the emotions that you may feel on a senior day that we had, they're going to be having those, and so we just have to make sure that we channel all of our energy and all of our emotion into playing winning football on the road.
Being able to win on the road is hard, especially like from a fan perspective, or like in terms of fans and energy. You got to create your own energy. So for us, we just got to make sure we come with our own energy, having each other's back, and just building off each other, and just executing.
We have to tackle really well. We have to talk. We have to do a great job with fitting the run at linebacker. When we have a gap, we take it, and so it'll be a challenge with Lawrence. And the scheme, from what they do offensively is a little bit different in the run game, but there's something that we have to prepare for from the standpoint of what's given us problems, and we have to have answers defensively.
Well, it's Louisiana Tech at Missouri State. 1 o'clock is that kick on the road. Jacob Clark, as you see, second in the conference in passing. The Bulldogs have the best red zone defense, though, in Conference USA at almost 76%. Should be a good one to see if the Bulldogs can get to 7 wins on the season. Well, in the latest rounds of the college football playoffs, only 2 teams swapped spots, Oregon and Ole Miss. So if we started today, Ole Miss would face Alabama. Yo! How about that matchup? But you notice the bottom of the right hand, Tulane is still there, sitting at number 12, but they have 2 games left. One against Charlotte, then in the American Conference game. But don't talk to John Summerall about this afternoon's game being a walkover with a team that has only won 1 game.
I told our team, I don't want to hear about any records, because nobody wins a game because of what your previous experience has been, or previous success has nothing to do with future success. Look, this team was tied with North Texas at halftime, I believe. It was 7-0 versus UTSA at halftime. UTSA kicked our butt.
Losing these past 2 conference championships really put a bad taste in my mouth. So the hunger, the desire is there. Like, we really want this. So I feel like we can't be denied.
We definitely still had that taste from Army throughout the whole season. Even after we played them, we still had that taste. We always knew, like, it was always a goal to make the conference championship. It was never a goal to beat Duke, to beat Army. It was always a goal to make the conference championship. So that definitely stayed in the back of our mind, and having that taste in our mouth. So it's feel good to have our opportunity to host the conference championship, but we still got to go 1-0 this weekend.
I'm not trying to be a smart aleck when I say this, but like, we're playing a really important football game, and this team, I think, deserves the city, the state, whoever, to show up and support it, because we got an opportunity to do something really special. Our players deserve it. The work they've put in, man, I don't care who you're a fan of. I don't care if it's Tulane or some other school, or you don't even like college football. Just show up and support a group of people, our young men, who have given a lot of positive experiences and opportunities to our local community to be recognized and play for something important.
I got an idea for you. Ham in America, Strawberry Stadium at noon, and it's 45 minutes down the bridge. You're in New Orleans for tonight's 6:30 kick between Tulane and Charlotte. Tulane has allowed 10 sacks. That's tied for fewest in the NCAA. Forget about just the conference. But, Scott, you can't afford to stub your toe here. There's a bigger path, and it starts with the conference championship if you get the win tonight.
That's right. All your goals are right there in front of you. But like Coach Summerall said, this is why you play the game. The other team comes out there. They're trying to win as well. They're not concerned with what their record is. And you have to be ready to go, because I love Coach Summerall alluding to the games that they've been in this year against a really good North Texas team and taking other teams all the way to halftime. You just weren't able to finish games. But they put the football out there. You got to be ready to play every single Saturday.
And then there's this big game this afternoon out of the SEC, where the LSU Tigers are on the road for the first time in Norman, Oklahoma, to face number 8 Oklahoma, who sits nice and pretty right now in that playoff bracket. Tigers could mess things up for them if LSU could get the win on the road. Earlier this week, interim head coach Frank Wilson talked about finding positives to help his team focus on heading into this afternoon's game.
I try to find the good that they can see. All right, we're 2-0 at home in the month of November. All right, we're 2-1 in a very difficult month. How do you finish? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want your legacy to go out? We can go out here and go play the way we're capable of playing to the best of our ability and see where the chips may fall. We can go out here and raise a white flag and say, no one expected we're not going to the playoffs. What's your legacy? How do you want this team to be remembered? And 8-4 is a lot better than 7-5, right? And so for us, it's about self-reflection. It's about how we want to be remembered. It's about going on the road, playing a top 10 team who will be favored to beat you, right? And so here's our underdog story. All right, let's talk about that, and let's prepare, and let's see. Let's just see how we perform when our backs are against the wall. We've been here before.
Well, Scott, he said he wanted to see things good for his team. I'm going to show you good. Unfortunately, it has to do with the Oklahoma Sooners. You know, the over-under by Vegas for LSU is 13.5 for a struggling offense, but here's why. First, look at the rankings for the Sooner defense. It is going to be a challenge for this struggling Tiger offense this afternoon in Norman.
I think when we just talked about Coach Summerall all year, I think Brent Venables is in the conversation for Coach of the Year as well. What he's done defensively, he took the headset back, said, if I'm going down, I'm calling the defense myself, and they've been outstanding on defense all year long. I think this is going to be a slugfest. The advantage of having a son who goes to Norman, goes to the University of Oklahoma, is his closet's full of LSU gear, by the way. He grew up a Tiger fan. But he gets me the weather report. It's going to rain all morning. It's going to be low 30s with wind chill in the afternoon. This could be a 10-7 type game. I think both defenses show up. Both offenses have been struggling. Oklahoma's offense has not been playing well the last couple of weeks, but defensively, both teams could make it a low-scoring game.
Look, they've been winning with defense, there's no doubt, and it's a big one because LSU could play spoiler, but can that offense find enough? We'll find out this afternoon. Hey, look, this is our final Saturday morning regular edition of Game Notes. It's been our first year in LPB, and we have thanked you so much for joining us all season long. We'll see you tomorrow night to wrap up all the action. With Scott Shanley, I'm Victor Howell. Enjoy your game day, and thanks for joining us on LPB. Major production funding for Game Notes is provided by Southern University and A&M College, and Hargrove Engineers and Constructors, and the Romp Pew Agency, with additional support from Lafayette Travel, the LSU Alumni Association, and the Cook Hotel and Conference Center at LSU, Louisiana Tech University, Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, Northwestern State University, Red Stick Sports, the U.S. Army Baton Rouge Recruiting Battalion, the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and viewers like you. Thank you.